Wow, what an introduction. That was 30 seconds of pure, like, intense, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I lost all the words as soon as we went live.
Professional.
I felt
Anticipation.
like the intro to a science class movie or something.
It was 30 seconds of sheer anticipation. That's what it was. What's going on? This is the first
shirt say. Sorry, I have to know.
It says be a nice human.
I thought it said be a Nick human. Like, you need that in your life.
Yeah, I thought that said
Nick, you should remake it and just say like be a Nick human.
Be a Nick
human. All right, listen, we're off to a great start as usual. I just want to kick it off by everyone introducing yourselves and go. Who wants to start? Lauren, go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Lucido. I am the Director of Marketing for Lucido Agency. We are an expansion team with KW, obviously.
Yes, well, maybe some people didn't know that you were obviously with KW, and those people are weird.
Isn't everyone?
Yes, I'm joking. And let's go to Miss Jason Abrams. Gave a shout out, Miss Kimberly Meserve, like she doesn't need an introduction.
It's so embarrassing.
Look at the board behind you, like you're going to draw Gary Keller hockey sticks.
Yes, that's what I do all day long. I am Kimberly Meserve, and I'm an agent with a team in Boston. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, good. Kevin Schwartz, yeah.
Kevin Schwartz. I'm out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm an agent out here. I hail from Cleveland, and there's a fellow Clevelander in the house. I am.
Natalie, you're in Cleveland, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm an agent, and I've worked on a handful of different projects. Most recently, Keller Covered, which is awesome. Check it out.
Oh yeah, Keller Covered. Kevin,
covered.
catchphrase. Get covered.
Get covered. There's a bunch of catchphrases. I don't know. I'm sure I'll drop all of them at some point tonight.
I like the new superhero branding.
I knew you would like that. There's if you guys haven't checked that out, there is. I'll figure out what the link is and I'll put it in the comments. But
maybe it's kellercover.com, perhaps.
Well, no, because not Keller Cover doesn't have the superhero stuff. You want like the good.
Oh,
that's on. I'll pull up the link. I'll find it.
Yeah, you do that, Kevin Schwartz.
I'm gonna do that.
Natalie, what's up? You're so quiet. Now it's your time to talk.
Yeah, I'm Natalie Gonzalez, marketing manager in Cleveland, Ohio for the Safe Harbor team. Yeah.
And Natalie has an amazing Facebook group called
KW Facebook Lead Mastermind.
It's a Facebook lead generation group.
Really long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jesse with an exclamation point. There was a show on Disney called Jesse with an exclamation point.
I'm just happy to be here. Just happy to be here.
Do your kids watch that show, Jesse with an exclamation point?
No. I have one 15-year-old boy. He does not watch it. Really, the Jesse with an exclamation point it came from Toy Story originally. She writes her name somewhere in the movie. I think that's what somebody told me. I don't know. I've never seen it myself. I'm Jesse.
I've never seen Toy Story,
right?
I think yes. Yeah, and I think there's an exclamation point on it. I don't know. Maybe second Jesse stole it.
Wait, did you say that you've never seen Toy Story? Is that what you said?
I've seen it, but I don't remember.
Okay, that's you know what? Listen, we don't want to judge you if you haven't seen it. We don't want to judge you. Totally judging you.
Oh boy.
So we're here today to talk about family reunion and we'll see what people thought, your takeaways, your ahas, as they say, your ahas. How'd you guys think about day one? What was your by the way, it's happy hour, so I'm drinking something. I'm drinking some. Kevin and I are the only one. Lauren, are you drinking something?
Have you ever met me?
I was going to say,
I have some champagne in here with some berries.
Good. Well, first of all, let's give Lauren some congratulations because the Lucido team won like the biggest team in the world award last night.
Well, thank you.
So
I'm not even,
congratulations.
so it's not me.
Congratulations. I think it was like $1 billion in GCI and like 17,000 homes sold or something crazy like that. It doesn't even matter. Once you get past 800 million, it doesn't even matter anymore, Kevin. It's just whatever. I can't count that high.
I know. Just keep them coming.
Yeah. So, what did everyone think about, day one? I have my thoughts. They might not be very popular, but I'll share them in a minute.
I think I might share the same unpopular thoughts as you. So
That's okay. Let's share unpopular thoughts about day one. But I'll wait.
I'll jump in. Me in the frozen tundra of Denton, Texas. So far it's been frustrating for me because power issues, all that fun stuff. But of the 20 minutes that I got to actually catch today, I'm all in, and so I have a lot of catch up. I have a lot of catch up to do. I think a lot of us in North Texas do.
Well, good thing you'll be able to watch it for the next 2 months.
I know. I really am. I am excited about that. I for the platform for Mega Camp, myself, my agents, and my market center, we've gone back and watched it, use it for team meetings for months after. So it's been good. So
let's talk. So then Kevin, what did you think about day one?
Day one as opposed to today being day two. There was a lot of.
You want me to start? I'll just start.
No, I'm just fighting not to address the elephant in the room, but I loved the recovery today.
Kimberly and I will address it.
What?
I loved
Kimberly and I will address the elephant in the room.
Yeah. No, I loved the way today went down, to be honest. What was that session even called? That was earlier today.
Onward. 2021.
Onward. Yes. That honestly, that's
very good.
Has been one of my favorite sessions of just breaking down the logic of what's going on. Because I know, Nick, I can speak on your behalf, I think a little bit to the sense, everybody's always challenging, what's happening in the market. And I've heard from your perspective, at least enough to know that that was a great perspective on how the market is changing. And I love the idea that maybe we are challenging Zillow. And I don't know, I'd love to see us create our own scheduling program, but I don't know. It's what did you guys think of that?
Hey, is it me or is the internet going weird tonight?
It might be.
Is it just
Texas?
Is it just me?
Yeah.
Is this Texas?
Fault, yes.
Is Texas's fault? Okay, so Kevin, I do know that when Zillow has, I know that in terms of threats to Zillow, I know that KW is definitely a threat to Zillow.
Right.
They have their quarterly phone calls. At least this was when Spencer Raskoff was CEO. KW would come up a lot, and KW was the only brokerage. They would have, Zillow would have tech companies that were threats to them, and the only brokerage that was on that list of all filled with tech companies was Keller Williams, was a threat. No other brokerage is a threat to Zillow. And that's why I think I actually think that Zillow is, in some ways they're afraid of us. So I think that a lot of what they're doing, because we're the largest, right? Because we're the largest, we have and we sell the most houses, we have the most market share. I just think that, it's very logical that they would be concerned about what we're doing, right?
It's interesting to see the thought of, I think when I first thought of Zillow, and so in Pennsylvania, they are currently in our MLS. They're not actively doing anything, but they're a legal brokerage in the state of Pennsylvania, as they are in most markets. I think that everybody's gut reaction was that they wanted to enter the space as a brokerage, right? As a Compass, as a competitor, a direct competitor. But Josh brought up an interesting point that it's not necessarily that part of their objective may not necessarily be to be our actual competitor, as it is to charge those who are paying for Zillow leads, charge them more, much like team leaders are doing, like mega agents are doing for their agents, and offering them a smaller piece of the pie for an easier lead.
Well, right. And what I've gathered is that their whole point is, and not to say they're not going to do other things, but their whole point is to have licensed agents to sell homes listed by Zillow. Homes owned by Zillow. But what's that?
Do you think that that's their path that they want to do?
No, I don't think they're going to list homes that they don't own. That's what I think. But I do think that they're going to leverage showing time to sell those showings to Zillow Premier agents. That's what I think. Like if someone requests, an instant showing, like Josh was bringing up, and this was something that Tristan and I were talking about, that I do think there's going to be a point where someone's going to go to the site, they're going to request an instant showing. It's going to be like Domino's Pizza when they were like, get your pizza in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. Request to see this house in 30 minutes or less. They'll sell that. They'll blast it out.
Control the lead, essentially.
Right. They'll blast it out to 50 Premier agents in that general vicinity, and the first one to grab it will pop up like a Pop-Tart and run out and open the door. That's what they're going to do, and that'll cost you 50%. Who knows, right?
Right.
Because that's an opportunity that you don't have to do anything for, and that's what I think they're going to utilize showing time for.
Yeah,
but the 500 million was not for the technology; it was for the data. Showing time is not tech. Showing time is an operator, and they happen to have a phone that you could contact the operator with, or it's basically a fancy text message with their app. So the technology isn't something that Zillow can't already do. They already have ISAs, right? They could easily pivot that. They just wanted the 1 million agents or 1 million accounts that use, or 1 million including agents and MLSs that utilize showing time. That's what they wanted. They paid for the data. They didn't pay for the tech because there is no tech. So
we have agents, a couple agents in our office, listing agents that are that they've already, just through Google, they've decided that they're going to advise their sellers. And I don't know how it works in y'all states, but in Texas, in our listing agreements, our sellers can opt in or out of third-party services like Showing Time, formerly CSS, in order to schedule showings for their property. And so they can, right in the listing agreement, opt out of it. And then in our MLS, we check the right box and they're opted out of that. And so all schedules would be shown through the link that we put in our MLS, as long as we advise our sellers and they sign off on it. And so our listing agents in our office, immediately, they're like, well, we're going to give our sellers the option on whether or not they want their data shared with a third-party company. And so it was for us, immediately, it was kind of a little blip on the radar. It's not an issue for me, for my clients, for my sellers, because I'm going to advise them the right way. I don't know what the third-party company is going to do with their data, and so I want to give them that option when I'm listing their house, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. What did you guys think about? Here's the elephant in the room, Kevin. There were so many agents, so many team leaders that had guests because they were selling that Zillow interview, and then there was no Zillow interview. And now, before I ask you what you guys felt about that, you have to look at it this way. I feel like that interview probably got a little testy. And because Zillow is a brokerage, I think because of the fact that it got testy, it was probably not wise to show it. And I don't think they didn't show it because they didn't want to. I just think that it may have crossed some lines. I'm just saying. I think it may have crossed some, like if Zillow was not a brokerage, then they could have probably showed it.
Right, because then they're a partner, not a fellow broker.
Right, exactly.
And you remember Gary Witt is and always will be a card carrying member of the National Association of Realtors, like we all are, right?
Yep.
And so maybe it did get heated enough where he's like, oh, okay, not going to show that out of integrity.
I was wondering if it was like, anybody remember when Gary went kind of head to head with Brad Inman?
I brought that up earlier.
Like really fierce. That's what I thought it might have been like. And I actually like. If it was like that, props to Gary, and that showed a lot of leadership and restraint for just saying like, you know what, I wasn't in the best place when I did this interview, and it got a little heated, and it's not the best demonstration of our leadership.
Well, look at it this way. Remember when Gary called the EXP platform Donkey Kong? That just he couldn't shake that for years, and I think that he learned his lesson from that, and he admitted it. And I think that not that this was that type of conversation. I just think it may have gotten to a point where it probably wasn't wise to show it, right? Yeah. And it could have been from either side. But I do think that it was very honorable that Gary actually said, I think Zillow is an honorable company. Look at it. I know that bothered a lot of people, but in my opinion, like I've never had a problem with Zillow doing what they do because look, this is capitalism. They deserve to make a profit and they are solving a problem. Clearly, if there wasn't a problem, there wouldn't be a Zillow. So I think honestly, the people that we have to look at for the reason why Zillow exists isn't our MLSs, isn't, Zillow themselves. It's because the real estate agent hasn't given the customer. I mean, think in 2020, NAR just released their home buyer statistics for 2020, and only 64% of people that bought and sold said they had an amazing experience working with a realtor. Only 60. That's a D. That's a D. That's a D grade on a test. That's why there's a Zillow.
Yeah,
because we're only good.
It was a good reminder today about consumer experience. Number one. Yeah. And I loved what I did catch. I loved the reminder of like, guys, who's paying Zillow? The consumer is not, right? No. Like, I mean, it was just it's so obvious, but like that was a huge aha for me. I'm like, oh, that it's us. It's our commission. We're the ones paying it because we have not yet, as a whole, developed the absolute best consumer experience. And 10, we have it. It's at our fingertips. Our agents are just needing to jump in and utilize it, right?
Well, the other part too is like consumers aren't educated about, like, the conversation I used to bring up a lot in my buyer consultations was like, oh yeah, like feel free to go look at these other sites. And this was really before the KW app came out. But then I would ask clients like, do you know how Zillow makes money? And no one ever knew. And I would explain it to them like, oh, when you're seeing 123 Main Street and you're putting in your information, they're selling your information. And like, it was always like mind equals blown. They're selling my information. I had never even thought of that. And I think that people just like, we don't do a good enough job educating the general public on how it all works.
Totally agree with you. So anyway, you guys want to switch gears?
Sure.
So I thought day 2 was like, well, first of all, I'm gonna also mention that Texas is going through a heck of a time right now. So if yesterday seemed a little off, listen, right before they went live, the whole website crashed. So, they're all backstage like freaking out. So I think like there was also some of that. And Jesse, you got how much snow? Like
it's only like 4 to 6 inches, but it's 0. It's 0 degrees. Texans are generally not equipped for that. And it's been 4 days now that it's been totally, totally freezing. We should be able to handle this. There's definitely some, I want to know where all the money is going. There's definitely some, not shady things, but questions that we have about how this is being handled. But yeah, it's only 4 to 6 inches, but we don't have like snow plows. Like
right. Yeah, you don't have any of that.
Trucks? Doesn't everyone drive a truck in Texas?
We do, yes, but like people don't know how to drive.
Yeah, but like there's no plows on the truck
here.
No, I know.
My family,
but
like we don't know how to drive.
Oh yeah.
Are there going to be are plows coming from other states?
they've done that in the past. I have not seen them yet.
Oh man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, you gotta. I feel like I chalk up some of day one to that craziness. But I thought today was on fire, and I thought Jason and Josh had great energy, and Kevin, like you said, they really explained, why it's so much more beneficial running your Facebook advertisements through Command and talking about the AI and the amount of ads that are running through there and the system getting smarter, therefore reducing the cost per lead. So I thought it was great that they explained that to everybody, because every time I'm on a call with a team or a mega agent talking about Command, I always explain why. They're like, why is it so much cheaper? Why is it so much cheaper? And that's, when I spend $50 through Command for a Facebook ad, Facebook sees it as Keller Williams spending another $50, and there's already 7 figures being spent every month through Command by agents, right? And then there's already tens of thousands of Facebook ads being created through Command. So the amount of money and the amount of ads together create a lower cost per lead. So think of it like Costco. At Costco, you get a 10-gallon jug of ketchup for $4. You go to the supermarket, you get a 20-ounce bottle of ketchup for the same price. It's essentially you're buying the more an ad fund spends, the lower the lead's going to be, and then the more purposeful that Facebook is with putting your ad in front of the right people. They're going to put it in front of people that are not just more likely to click, but likely to submit their information. So those two things together, it was good that they talked about it. Natalie's been very quiet, and I'm going to go to her because you're like a Facebook ninja. What was your biggest takeaway from that?
Yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, working full-time in marketing for a team, I was kind of in and out during it. But yeah, I thought it was really good to kind of give a thorough explanation about that. A lot of people don't realize, or actually I have a lot of people coming to me saying, oh, should we just run ads through Facebook? And, or I'm like, absolutely not. No, you will not get the same amount of leads. You won't get the same amount of impressions or anything. And when I've tried it, like the same exact ad on Facebook versus Command is like $5.50 versus 30 cents on Command. So like there's a drastic difference. And I just think it was really good that they played up the importance of using Command, and I completely agree with what they were saying.
Yeah.
You've lined it up before like that, Natalie. You've tested. That's cool.
Yeah. And it was a drastic difference. I mean, not to mention, if you're the average agent who isn't extremely tech savvy, doing ads through Ads Manager is extremely complicated. There are so many settings. It could take you hours. Like even for me, it took like the first time, I want to say like an hour, and I'm good with technology. So it's not worth the headache. Go through Command.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's Facebook Ads Manager is always changing that, and put that on top of it just being difficult already. It's just not worth it. You know what I mean?
It's not.
So totally.
Through Command, honestly, it's the easiest way. It's the easiest, cheapest way to feed your database. Our top agents in our market center always have a 7-day $35 ad running, just constantly. And I mean, they have the ones that have teams, it's all working perfectly. They have buyers agents converting them, following up on them. We're getting into contract with out of about every 40, which
that's huge. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm at $1.97. I'm at $1.97 right now for my leads coming into this new.
It's stupid. It's stupid how well it works.
Nick, how much do you do retargeting?
Who are you talking to?
Kevin?
Nick. Or really, does anybody utilize retargeting ads?
No, I do, but I don't use Command for it. I use a different platform.
Yes, same.
Yeah. That's a space that I'd like to dive deeper into.
Although you can do it. You can do it.
Right.
Through Command. But I do it with a different platform because here's the thing. So I use dynamic ads, and Command doesn't have dynamic ads yet. When they do, then I'll get into that. But the way that you would retarget through Command is to target your database. So if you have like several hundred leads from Facebook or Zillow or wherever you got them from, even open houses, You just tag them and put them into a list and retarget them as your database and create ad sets that, like let's say you have several hundred Zillow leads, right? And you never got in touch with them. You could put them in a list and retarget them with an ad that says something along the lines of, hey, hi, you requested to see a home on Zillow not too long ago, and I don't think we connected. Would like to invite you to our website and see, what homes we have for sale. Something along those lines that like speaks specifically to them. So I've done that through Command a couple of times, and I have had decent success with people coming back and having conversations. But if you run a retargeting ad through Command and people come back, that's definitely a hand raiser.
Yeah.
Nick, this is totally off topic. I just wanted to celebrate something. I'm out of quarantine as of 2.5 hours ago.
As of 2.5 hours ago?
I survived.
Oh, Jesse.
Yes. I had the COVID, y'all. I had it. I didn't.
Oh, man. You had the vid. You had the vid. Did you see the Kevin Hart special on Netflix? He's like, I got the vid.
I got the vid, man.
I can't get the vid, man.
Oh my goch, that was a hilarious special.
It was so good. Yeah, I had it. I'm really I feel judged. I do, but it's okay. No.
Why do you feel judged?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But
How did you get the vid?
We were so careful. We were so good. We followed the rules. We did everything we're supposed to do. And then about 12 days ago, I was I don't feel so hot. But yeah, I had the vid. Thanks, Nick.
Well, how did you get it?
I don't know. Honestly, it went through my office. We followed the resurgence pretty well, and we had 4 or 5 agents that had it. My staff, it was not great, but we're all okay.
Oh my goodness! So, are you in the guest room?
Yes, this is my COVID castle. This is literally where I've been. I've got this is my upstairs. I've got game room, 2 guest rooms, and a bathroom. This has been my COVID castle.
Do you like the families in the house though?
Yeah, so they're all downstairs, and I have in the game room upstairs, it overlooks the great room downstairs, and it's not a wall, it's a wrought iron spokes, and so I've been literally in jail. So I can watch movies and stuff with them when they're downstairs, but I'm just up here.
So what happened with the kids? You have one son and your husband. So where did they not come near that area of the house for 2 weeks?
No, they didn't, and it
How
sucked.
did you get food?
It sucked. Yeah.
Food like you're in solitary confinement or something.
Yeah,
literally prison.
They would make me food, and they would put it on the landing of the stairs, and I would I would go and get it, and then I would lower a bag down over the railing for snacks.
Oh my god, I need pictures.
That's so
pictures
awesome.
or it didn't happen. Pictures or it didn't happen.
I'll show you.
Nobody knew that. I didn't know you had the vid. You just told us today.
I know.
Do you feel like if you get COVID, do you feel like you didn't tell anybody because you think that people are gonna look frown upon you for being irresponsible or something?
I originally thought that, but that's kind of why I say listen, I was so careful, but it's sneaky. It's just there's nothing there. So it's unpreventable. It is just sneaky.
Where do you think you got? Oh, from the office. That's right.
There was somebody on the live audience Zoom yesterday. I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was Tiffany Fikes, but I don't know if it was 100%. They were in Taiwan, when COVID started, and they took it so seriously. You get $1 million fine if you break quarantine, and they have almost no cases. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, in America, people wouldn't care.
Costa Rica was like that too. It was a big fine, and it was also a 1-year prison sentence. Because I had a friend who his wife's brother was trying to come to their wedding, and he couldn't make it because he was stuck in Costa Rica.
Dang.
I'm afraid to when my parents just got their second shot today, but still I don't know, I'm gonna be I feel like I'm gonna wear a mask for like the next 10 years. This is like I'm so nervous, right? Like when we go out to a restaurant the next time or go to a movie theater, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to enjoy myself. That's just, I don't know. But I want
I think
life,
masks are
Nick.
here to stay. I think masks are maybe not as heavy usage, but I mean, you think about in the other hemisphere, it's like if I'm sick, I'm gonna wear a mask so I don't get like my crap on you. It's polite.
Yeah.
And so that
you're right.
may be integrated in our culture. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Lauren, how did you guys had, was this your biggest year yet, you think? 2020?
Yeah.
So you guys had your biggest year yet, and you have a large team in many different states and in 2 countries. Like, what did you guys do to, continue to truck on with that many people that you have in your organization? Like, did you guys put certain things in place, or, because 2,400.
We have people in locations all over, so all over the country and also Canada. So everyone was sort of in different phases, and even now it's still in different phases. So every state had their own regulations. We put out right away. We put out our version of showing instructions and like our internal versions, and then each location, each team leader in our locations was very on top of our regulations and best practices for safety, on top of whatever the local state regulations were. So it was I guess I would say one of the, I don't know if this is really what your question is, but I think one of the elements where we were sort of, I don't want to say prepared, because I don't think anyone was prepared for anything like this at all. But being an expansion team, our hub services the entire company. So we were already working and communicating with our agents virtually. So it wasn't really for us in terms of communicating with them. We were already having, virtual meetings and calls and Zooms and whatnot. It obviously went to a much higher level once COVID started. But I think already working virtually made it less of a maybe challenge for our agents to get used to, communicating with their admin or marketing and support team, virtually.
I think to an extent, it kind of like pushed people to enforce them to be digital when they wouldn't have before. Or, some agents that just were all paper and pens and showing up in person to everything. Like now they're forced to be on Zoom calls and figure out technology. And I think it's kind of pushed people to also figure out command a little bit more too. Just realizing that this is a digital age,
Yeah, and like Bob, like my dad, he's very old school, very like belly to belly, face to face, door knocks, likes to be in front of people, is not very not super tech savvy, would prefer like in person or a phone call to text message. And I remember, and it was pretty early on, he had a virtual listing appointment. The clients, they were in Florida and sort of like stuck in Florida. And so he had a virtual appointment. And I remember the next morning, my mom told me, and I was like, what? Dad had a virtual listing appointment. And so that it was great because Bob was like to our team, if I can do it, everyone can do it. If I can do a virtual listing appointment and sign a listing agreement virtually over Zoom, then everyone in our company can do it. So I think I think you're right. It challenged people, and I think that some people who might have been more hesitant or like fearful of something new and different like this, I think it's so much more convenient. Obviously, you can't ever replace the in-person element, but for being able to communicate, sometimes it's easier to just hop on a Zoom call even than like picking up the phone. So, and I know a lot of our agents, even though we're still, we're like open houses or you can do open houses and go on appointments. A lot of our agents are still now utilizing like virtual appointments for for some things, which I think is great.
Yeah, I think that's going to be
Sorry, Nick.
going on for a while. It's just, and it's easier.
It's so efficient. The first person in our office, they're actually a couple, a married couple. First person in our office to list, sell, and go all the way through contract completely virtually. They were there for the inspection, I think, but basically it was in contract, sight unseen. Everything was done virtually. The first people to do it in our office, they're 78 years old, and so they won like our super techie award and everything. They were, I'm so proud of them. We have an older base in our office too. And people that were scoffing at technology and saying that they had so much trouble adopting it, like they were actually leading they were on the front lines of it. I was so proud of them.
Yeah. And like I actually walked in on my mom doing a voice lesson over Zoom. And she's 70 years old too. So it's like, even people that are a little bit older, they can do this. And imagine how many appointments you can have if you're not driving,
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, so for me, when I was regional tech trainer, like for the first 2 months in the job, I actually drove to Ohio like 4 times, like to meet with teams. And right when COVID hit, like I was able to get through the top 100 teams in my region to have tech audits with them and learn about their business. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had to drive back and forth from Ohio twice a month. Somebody has this question, their Facebook user, because they didn't click on the StreamYard link, but I know that Jason said something about Zillow today, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, wait, no, it was this one. Sorry. First, let's do this one. Lisa, what do you think of Jason Abrams' message? I don't remember what it was. Does anyone remember?
It was like me, Gary Keller, and 190,000 of us.
Yeah, it was like
we're coming for you. Yeah.
Well, like, what was the message though?
I think that was it.
I think that was it. Because somebody said to him yesterday, like, "Good job," but you didn't say anything that was quotable. So he was like, "Here's my quotable message."
I thought he had a lot. Like I had quotes that I had typed in my phone a couple minutes before he had said that. I thought that, and this isn't directly related to Zillow, but it is. I mean, he mentioned this as they were going into the Zillow conversation, but about being hyper personalized, like not just hyper local, hyper personalized, and that like when we're trying to talk to everybody, we're really talking to nobody, which is it's so like it's so basic, but sometimes in our industry, like again, in marketing, you're trying to reach as many people as possible, but when you do that, you end up excluding people because it seems like you're not talking directly to them. I don't know. So it was just kind of like wow, that makes so much sense. And he was saying, Zillow, regardless of how accurate, like whatever you feel about the Zestimate, Zillow filled a need with that. There's a reason why people, consumers go to Zillow, and whether it's accurate or not, and however you feel about it, Zillow being a business and running, operating like a business, that's how they were, they're filling a gap. And that's something that agents aren't doing. So we as agents need to be better about not just, spewing out general market, market updates, but actually catering it to them, and not just to them, your home value, but communicating that your home value to wherever they are in their life, which I thought, I was like, gosh, that makes so much sense. Like, this is not rocket science at all, but it's like, I think that sometimes we overthink it. Mm-hmm. Instead of just treating people yes, it's a business, but treat people like the human element of it.
Yeah. Also, to piggyback off of what you said, Smart Plans makes it really easy to think we should just blast this out to all of our database. But personalizing a little bit more, not all leads should get the same touches, have your hot, warm, and nurture, or whatever you call it, on different Smart Plans, because they have different timelines and different needs at the time. So it's a little bit tone deaf if you put them all on the same Smart Plan, even though that's the easier thing to do. And, it's just not really personalized.
Well, that's where monthly neighborhood nurtures came in.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it solved that need of providing one-to-one experience as opposed to one to many. I forget who just said that line that Jason said, where it's, I think it was you, Jesse, where if you, what was the exact quote from him? But basically,
but when we try to talk to everybody, we talk to nobody.
Yeah.
So Jason, that is your quotable line.
Right. And that's it, is that if you aren't, and I loved, they made a huge effort of segmenting your marketplace, right? So segmenting it into, Kimberly, I'll pick on you, first-time home buyers or luxury or whatever your market is. You can't have the same message for both of them.
Right, like the agents that are asking for, all right, within command, where's the 36 touch? Where's the 33 touch? Like, no, you're missing the point. Like, what segment are you talking to, and what is it that you want to say? It being super personalized. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
That was the world famous Brady Newquist that just decided to pop in here. Hasn't talked to me in 10 days, but
when they would come to your door to bring you food, did they wear masks when they got to that side of the house?
Oh yes, they wore masks if they just saw me from a distance. They're like, oh, sorry, we all did.
I have a friend who got COVID twice. Not that I want to bring up the COVID conversation again, but yeah, I have a friend who got COVID twice. No names.
Twice.
That's so wrong.
My sister did too.
He got the vid squared.
Vid squared.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna wrap it up in a minute because Kimberly has to go. I want to go hang out with my awesome, beautiful wife. But I think, the general consensus is that today was a really good day. I like how they dug into Facebook. I think that day one, maybe they spent a little too much time on Zillow, just like we did today, but a little too much time on Zillow. This is the funny thing. People in the chat were like irritated that they didn't get to see the Zillow interview. And then they're like, why are we spending so much time talking about them? Well, make up your mind. Right.
Yeah. And also, agents, y'all, everybody continue to be kind to the people, to KWRI and to the people in Austin.
Seriously.
Like, they're snowshoeing their way around to fix stuff for us.
Also,
right
like takes seconds to go on Reddit, and it sounds like an absolute disaster zone there.
I mean, to even run that in normal circumstances, like I don't know. It's like being in marketing and planning events like this, I do that on a much smaller scale. But seeing how they run family reunion and mega camp like every year, and then on top of it having to shift it, be virtual, and then I'm like, I don't know. I hope y'all have wine down there. I hope you have power and wine and are safe, but plenty of wine.
Yeah, Lauren is going to grab one of those KW Cares trucks and just fill it full of wine and just drive it. We're taking donations right now to KW Cares. It's all going to go to Chardonnay and Pinot Grigio. And Lauren will drive that. Lauren's driving the truck to Texas to Denton, Texas.
Yeah.
Are you sure that she's the one who should be driving the truck?
What,
Jesse?
Jesse is driving the truck.
Jesse, listen.
A truck full of Chardonnay.
Do you have
Chardonnay?
You can hire a driver. That's what I'm saying.
We have
Jesse,
trucks, and I drive them all the time.
Jesse, do you have wine?
Yes.
Oh, thank the Lord. You got the vid and you're snowed in. You need the wine.
I know. And it's been like
I got the vid and I'm snowed in. Oh, that's going to be Kevin. We got to keep that going, man. That sounds like that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah. Cough medicine and wine. Woo, ready to make some care calls.
Joanna says, listen, she'll
Johanna,
DM her address to anyone who's driving the truck with wine down to Texas.
Johanna, you guys, Johanna is she is new to our company. Okay, her and her husband Joel. She's new to KW Denton, and she is our new director of productivity. So y'all
really?
Yes, you heard her first. Her husband, director of productivity coach. She's a freaking rock star. Y'all look out for Johanna.
She just jumped right in.
Welcome.
Love it. So she'll be there unloading the truck with you.
Yeah.
It's gonna get slithered.
Yeah.
All right. On that note,
This was fun, Nick.
this was fun. I had a good time. You know, I needed this, guys. I really did. Thank you so much. All right, everyone have an amazing. I like Joanna already. She fits perfect.
Joanna just got her invite to the next happy hour.
Joanna, you're at the next happy hour tomorrow night. No, I'm kidding. All right, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.